Girl. What's up, Destiny and Chud?
Hi,
How
nice
y'all
meeting
doing?
you,
Mr. Girl. What's up,
You don't hate me.
I don't hate you. I actually did make a video though called Mr. Girl Hit Piece a while ago, with criticisms.
That's really good. Real quick,
of you.
I love you guys, and I have to peace out. Okay, be careful, stay safe. I believe in you. Okay, good luck.
Later.
Bye, Steven.
Send me pictures of you as a kid.
Hey, Steven. I have an update for you.
On what?
Buck Angel.
Yeah.
Is on board for the Transfer Culture panel.
Yeah. Wait, I agreed to a time and date for that, didn't I? Hold on.
You did. May 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I put it on my calendar. May 2nd. Oh, yeah,
Thanks.
I did. Yeah, we're there. Yeah. Yep.
Buck Angel and Brianna Wu.
Oh, God.
You got Brianna Wu on? No fucking way.
I got Brianna
You
Wu.
gotta be kidding me. That's insane.
Okay, hold on. I gotta ask you a quick question, okay? Because I had a friend in the past that was really good at getting, like, B-list celebrities and shit on their show. But sometimes I get mad and then they don't come on anymore. And that guy got really mad at me one time. Do you want me to be like on my best behavior for these people, or can I fight with these people at all? Or
Absolutely do not be on your best behavior.
Okay, just being. Okay.
I want you to be yourself no matter what. I would never ask you to change.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I love you. It should be fun. Have fun. Peace out.
I love you too. Bye, Steven.
Bye.
Yeah, Buck Angel, Brianna Wu, me, Destiny, and moderated by Dick Masterson.
Dick Master's moderating it. Anyway, stop shedding your own shit. We need to get on with this. Fuck me.
Hey, you moderated the first one. Oh no, wait, you didn't. But Stardust did. You were on it.
It was
though.
fun.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay.
So
What's
I
up,
guess
Tom?
the first thing that I wanted to ask you, so I believe it was the first time you talked to, no, it was the second time you talked to Destiny. It was after you had a conversation with Vosh. One of the things that you said was that you had two main goals with content creation. One was that you wanted to create content and say things the way that you want to say them while making money. Yeah. The other thing was that you wanted to bring people closer together or have people understand each other more. To me, in my experience in dealing with your content, those are contradictory goals. You saying things the way that you want to say them seems to also be very divisive and make people not come closer together, but more so separate more. Do you disagree with that?
Kind of. I also think that that's, I think that there's a push and pull, but I also think that that's part of what I want to say, or part of what I'm trying to change about people is get them to be themselves more and kind of push what's an acceptable way to say something or phrase something to make it so that we can be more like vulnerable and empathetic.
Okay.
I get what you're saying. There is like, yes, if nobody listens to what you're saying because of how you're saying it, then obviously you can't have any effect at all.
Yeah. I'm in linguistic marketing analytics, and so this, like, it's kind of not to say that I'm an authority on these things, because I'm not like I didn't go to school for linguistics, but this is what I focus on most, is in when on my channel I do debate coaching and rhetoric coaching and stuff like that. And it, like, people's brains turn off pretty easily from certain things, right? Like, we talk about words like rape culture, right? Like, lots of people's brains will immediately just shut off because they heard the word rape culture. So if I could give you like a formula, if I said, okay, here's a formula, you're going to say things in a less divisive way, but you will convince people more often. What first, like, what would you want to know about that formula to know whether or not you were going to use it?
Or would it? I don't want to use it already. I reject it. I don't want it.
Why is that? You could be telling the truth.
I don't want to, no, that's not the truth. No. The way you say something is part of whether it's true.
So if I decide to tell somebody that they're wrong, or tell them that they're an idiot and that they don't know anything, in these two cases, I'm telling the truth in both. I'm saying pretty much the same thing, but one is a lot more divisive than the other, right?
Yeah.
So when I say that they're both the truth...
But those I think a more realistic example is you're saying you're wrong versus I'm not sure I agree with that. And those are, one of them is more true than the other. If you actually think the person's wrong and they are wrong, then it's more true to say you're wrong. But if you're just being careful because you don't want to tell somebody they're wrong because they might not listen to you, you might get further by saying, I'm not sure I agree with that. And you might get a better response, but you also have somewhat lied in the process.
So, me personally, if I think somebody's like not telling the truth, instead of me saying you're not telling the truth or you're lying, what if I'm trying in a roundabout way to get them to contradict themselves to prove that they are lying? Would you say that in that process I am being dishonest?
Yeah, I mean, you're being more dishonest than if you just say, I think you're lying. Yeah. I'm not saying I would label it strictly dishonest, but it's more dishonest than I strive to be. Okay.
So, because earlier somebody was talking about like the ends, right? Like the goals for you. And so, how much of it for you is about the goals? Or do you think that there are principles that are... Because to me, it's what it sounds like, is that there are principles that are stopping you from meeting certain goals.
There are principles that are stopping me from... It's more just like every time I think there's a fork in the road, if I have to choose between the ends and the means, I think I'm going to try to choose the means.
I agree with that. I think I probably draw lines in different places, but okay. I also wanted to ask, so for gender.
Yeah.
Somebody asked earlier, like they said that it seems as though you're trying to, or you're convincing people to go with their gut more often than with empiricism. Do you think that like it's probably best to go with like what we know for now until what your like hypothesis was studied better?
Well, no, I don't agree. No one can even agree on what empiricism says about gender. Both sides are totally convinced that science agrees with them and disagrees with the other.
So I haven't seen a lot of science, though, that says that, like, I get maybe this is a little bit different than what I said, but I haven't seen a lot of science that says that, like, trans people shouldn't transition, for instance. Like, that's not, like, it seems like...
Well, that's... That's because that's a moral, like, or that's like a... What do you mean should or shouldn't transition? Like... If you think it's worth it to get like surgery to be happier, then and you think they would be happier, and like, do we have the longitudinal studies to prove? I just don't think there's like an answer. And then there's also a philosophical thing of like, I don't even think transitioning exists or makes sense. So, like, you can say you studied it, but I'm like, I don't even think that's what's happening.
But both
sides, like conservatives, I think, agree with me scientifically about transitioning. They're like, no, that just doesn't make any sense.
But if we can see that people are committing suicide at lower rates, wouldn't we have empirical data to see that this is at least helpful in some way, if not the solution?
Maybe it's an alternative to suicide. That is, preferable to suicide, but maybe there's something that's not anything like like I think that the correlation between being trans and being suicidal is that in both cases you want to escape your life. I think that being trans or transitioning is kind of a way to hit the reset button and distance yourself from like the pain in your life. That doesn't mean it's definitely better than suicide, but that doesn't mean that that there's not like a different solution that's just like better than both. I don't know.
But I
don't think we know.
Don't you
I don't think we know the answer.
don't you actually say that you don't think that that's the answer, that like transitioning isn't the answer for trans people?
I don't know what the answer is. It's more like I want us to. I don't think we know what the answer is, and I want us to keep an open mind and look for an answer that is better than transitioning, if there is one.
Okay. I agree.
I'm afraid that people are too. I'm afraid people are too scared to keep looking for a better answer, and I think that even if it's what trans people want is to transition and be encouraged to transition, I'm worried that we're settling for something that is not in their best interest to make things easier for the rest of us.
I agree with that to a point, but that's not...
Final comments.
Okay, yeah, that just like there's a long period of time where they weren't transitioning, or there weren't a lot of doctors who seemed to be on board with them transitioning, and now it seems to be more. It seems we have a lot more empirical data now to say that, like, okay, this is something that is a huge help. I don't necessarily. I'm interested more in what you're saying about like the moral standpoint of it. I identify as a conservative. I'm a bit more on like the progressive end of conservatism, but yeah, I agree with you to a point, but I do think that like at some point most of medicine is like, it seems is just giving you something to change your symptoms, but it's rarely a solution. It's rarely something that fixes you, right? So I think that that's like what transitioning is it's something that helps alleviate negative symptoms, but it's not a solution. But all right, appreciate you letting me cut everybody, Chud. There were so many people that
I did my best. And even went quite a while, but yeah, it's been a bit.
I'll take a little bit off of how much money you owe me for that.
Okay.
All right.
No
appreciate it, guys.
Thanks. Cheers. Bye-bye.